guys, what is up? It's your girl, Grace Torie, and I am back with a whole new podcast episode. Wedding season is coming to a close, kinda, sorta, unless it has already. Not really sure when the season is. We're just spitballing here. And I feel like we haven't done enough episodes about it. Specifically about the family drama involved with weddings. Your girl comes from a very dramatic family. Only one of my siblings have gotten married thus far, but I am familiar with the family drama involved in weddings, and it's probably one of my favorite parts about the wedding stories that I come across, because it's like all these people are put together, they have a lifetime of bad blood, obviously something crazy is going to happen. So I thought, why not find some stories and end the wedding season with a bang by talking about these things. And yes, we still are probably going to do more wedding stories. Just because the season's over doesn't mean we are done with this theme. It's just a good icing on the cake, you know, a little cherry on top to throw us into spooky season and all the fun things that come with starting the school year, fall, holidays, all that fun stuff. So yeah, before we jump in, of course, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, follow, leave a rating and review, all the things that are free. Take about 5 seconds, mean the absolute world, and blow up this podcast. Without further ado, let's go ahead and jump on in. I'm Grace Torie, and you're listening to That Girl the Podcast. Grab a beverage of choice and settle in, because the new episode is starting now. We're starting off with a short one just to kind of dip our toes in and get our feet wet. And this one is titled My Stepsister's Australian Wedding. As the title says, my stepsister just announced that she'll be getting married in Australia on December 22nd next year. Love that. I was literally just talking to Josh, and it's like, if money wasn't a factor for everybody else, and also like it wasn't so far away, because it's probably like, I think it's 24 hours of flying from here. I would do it in Australia, but that's so far away. Anyway, continuing. Not only does she expect my fiance and I to fly out to the wedding, but she expects me to drag my 14-year-old and 5-year-old sons with me. 2 times the 21-hour flights in coach, because anything above that is thousands of dollars more, and staying there just long enough to get over jet lag so we can come back. Trying to figure out how to say no. My fiance and I are trying to save money for a very small wedding for us and a decent honeymoon. If we go, it will use all of those savings and then some. Edit. For those asking, it's in Sydney Harbour. No, she's not Australian, and the reason it's hard to say no is that she is one of the most entitled people ever, so there will be some big drama when I tell her we're not going. When the announcement was made, it was said as if it was already decided for everyone in the family. Yeah, that's tough. So this is something that I feel like we need to talk about more with destination weddings. I've seen so many people do destination weddings recently. And like I said, Josh and I mentioned like doing destination weddings because for the bride and the groom, it is most of the time cheaper to get married at a destination wedding and do like an all-inclusive than it is locally. And I don't know how that works. I don't know the logistics behind it. My best friend had a destination wedding. She and I talked about it. And again, like, I have nothing wrong with these. Josh and I have talked about it. But the only way that I would personally be okay with doing that is if I paid for everything for everyone. Just because I'm such like a people pleaser. I don't want to inconvenience anyone. And I just know that some people wouldn't be able to make it, and it's like I want them to be there. So I think that there's pros and cons to these, and you just have to be okay with some people who may mean a lot to you not being able to make it. For example, grandparents. They may not be able to make that flight or make that drive. So those are things to consider. However, I hate these type of people who have destination weddings and they don't care about anybody else. Like, they move the wedding last second, or they expect people to pay their own way. Like, you should at least, in my opinion, if you're having a destination wedding, pay for something. Whether it's get block hotel rooms where there's a massive discount, whether it's paying for the family's flight. Like, there is something you can do, and I feel like that should be standard for a destination wedding. And if you aren't able to do that, then elope and have a nice honeymoon where you can go to that place. But that's just my personal opinion. Like, I just hate the idea that the people who mean most to you can't go because of something as trivial as, like, the cost of money or the cost of money, the cost of traveling, like, that is a reason for me to not have a destination wedding, and I don't understand why more people aren't on that boat. But again, if you're having one, power to you. I know some people have them so that their family can't come because they don't want to not invite them, but their family's dramatic. Like, there's a lot of reasons for it, and I see it, but in a situation like this, you can't really get mad at them for not being able to come if you put so many barriers to them being able to come. There's an update. Well, I told her last night we're not coming. She threw a fit and I lost it on her. I told her we would be happy to attend a local celebration, but I'm not putting my own wedding on hold or spending a small fortune to feed her already bloated ego. She said she won't be speaking with me anymore, and I made it abundantly clear I'm very okay with that. I'd rather not have my kids raised around someone as entitled and tone deaf as her. Yeah, that's pretty much, like, I was thinking when someone's entitled like this and they blow up, it's good to just, like, go low contact for a while, unless it's a situation where you need to go no contact and it's been building up for a while. Either way, I'm not surprised that it didn't end the way it did. I wish that it wasn't like that, but people are crazy. Priest almost died, and that's not even the worst part. Not sure what flair fits a priest almost died, but that's really just the cherry on top anyway. So my super religious cousin's wedding was set for March 2020. Believe it or not, the wedding didn't happen. They had a quick online ceremony instead with their parents on Zoom, and then they had a baby. Come 2021, and their parents have finally goaded them into having an event, even though they didn't really want to. The first thing they asked was that everyone who has not received the vaccine wear a mask. A resounding no and F you, not exaggerating. I saw the family group chat. Then they asked if people outside of the immediate family could just not handle the baby, please. She had some struggles. She was a preemie, and they were understandably very protective of her. Again, a resounding no and F you, with an extra long serving of multi-paragraph anger from my grandmother. This cousin is her nephew. Nothing from my cousin's mom, by the way. No standing up to her sister or anything. Anyway, their final request was just, please wash your hands and don't come if you feel sick or have been near sick people recently. Again, paragraphs of anger at this simple request. None of the above requests were followed at all. I know because I was scolded for wearing a mask and immediately handed the baby. I was vaccinated, but I didn't tell anyone except the groom because I knew how angry my grandmother would be. Guys, so far, why don't we grow a backbone? If no one's going to follow the rules, then they're either not invited, or you cancel the event, or you, I wouldn't even say, like, leave the baby at home, because, like, one, it's your wedding, and two, like, you can still carry something back. Like, March 2021 was still pretty COVID-y, so, I don't know, I would just not have it and tell everyone to F off. Like, if they don't want to do it anyway, no matter what your stance is, if someone asks you to do something for their baby or for them and you come at it with anger, you're in the wrong. Like, they are asking you to do something and nothing you say is going to rationalize it. Like, they're asking you to do something, point blank, period, to be around their preemie. If it would make them more comfortable for their wedding, then what the heck? Grow a backbone and tell these people to F off. But I have also told people in my family to F off, so I'm very comfortable with doing that. I understand some people aren't. Anyway, reading on. Anyway, we get to the wedding day. It's in a beautiful church near where they met, which is also near the beach. Like, truly a beautiful wedding. The whole walk-up, my grandmother is saying how my cousin's wife-to-be is evil and controlling. When it was my cousin who was texting everyone about the COVID stuff, but whatever. We sit down for the ceremony. It was very lovely and my dad cried. Side note, a lot of the priest's speech revolved around saying how he wished he could get married, which was kind of weird, but anyway. Then they decided to do a joint baptism with the baby at the same time. Okay, so that's why you wanted the baby there. That makes sense. The priest dunks the baby, then drops her in the water. Don't worry, my cousin caught her. Then collapses and stops breathing. They brought me over to check his pulse because I was studying pre-med. I was 16. And he had none. Ooh. That's a big, oh no. Okay. I'm not joking. I thought this dude was actually dead. So we called an ambulance and propped him up with pillows and then went outside so the EMTs could do their thing. You know what my grandmother has to say? Over and over and very loudly, this is a sign. They shouldn't get married. I knew it. God is telling them no. While the bride and groom are awkwardly standing next to each of us. My dad and I tried to shush her, and my dad started to apologize, but it was no use. Grandmas are crazy, aren't they? They just say whatever they want. Their filter has been long removed. I don't know what it is, but there's no stopping a grandma with a witchy sense or a suspicious sense or any sort of superstitious, like, I believe this because of this, specifically the Southern grandmas. Once they feel that way, they feel that way. And obviously that's not correct. Obviously that's not what was happening. But yeah, there's no stopping them. Anyway, the reception was amazing, and the two are extremely happily married and now have 2 babies. Oh, and also there's no contact with my grandmother. Surprise, surprise. There it is. And also the priest was okay. They say he had a cardiac event, but he was alright. He was 89 at the time, and he's still alive, so good for him. That is good for him. Yeah, there's nothing like those crazy religious family members. I have a few myself, and I'm not saying that all religion is bad. I myself am a Christian, but I think that obviously this is taking it a little bit far. So, yikes. Yikes, yikes, yikes. Narcissistic father hijacked the wedding. This is a fun flavor of family. My sister's wedding was this weekend, and of course, our narcissistic father made it all about himself. We all have a strained relationship with him for a long list of reasons, but here are some of his latest hits. He stole from our college fund to buy a BMW. Yeah, that's fun. He took 2 of his daughters off his health insurance without even a heads up. They only found out when they couldn't pick up their medication. That is why you get your own insurance at 18. I know it's expensive. I know life is hard, but if you've got narcissistic parents, you gotta do what you gotta do, babes. Caused my youngest sister to not graduate by stalling payment until the due date and refusing to pay his portion of tuition per contract. He blocked my sister the week payment was due. Wait, so did she have a contract with him, or was the contract with the school to pay tuition? When you know someone is a shitty parent like this, excuse my language, you just have to, like, not expect anything from them because everything comes with a cost. It's, like, all transactional. What do I offer so that you can then take from me? Like, if I ask you for $10, down the road, I know that you're going to turn around and say, I gave you $10, you owe me 1,000. Like, it's stuff like that when you're dealing with these kinds of people, and I know that either way, she probably wouldn't have been able to pay tuition, but it's like, you're making deals with the devil. Like, I would love to know if the contract was, like, with him, though, and that was her way of, like, saving herself, but then again, you have to go to court for stuff like that, and that's expensive. I just need more tea on that. Anyway, he has been dragging out a 6-year divorce with our mom to bleed her dry, and yes, it's still ongoing. He opened a secret account years before they divorced and funneled money into that, too. We have the cash withdrawal receipts, we just don't know what account he deposited them into. Yeah, that's a classic one. Leading up to the wedding, my sister had 4 separate conversations with him, making it absolutely clear he was not walking her down the aisle. That role was reserved for our mom. She even went as far as telling his girlfriend to be sure the message got through. Why was he invited? Anyway, the day of the wedding, he refused to leave the bridal party and said, "It's weird for a mother to walk her child down the aisle. I've never even heard of that before." He forced his way in, insisted on walking her down the aisle, and ignored her wishes completely. He wouldn't go sit with the guests like he was supposed to. My sister's wife was furious, but didn't want to make a scene. Yeah, because with narcissists like this, it's all about how they're perceived and their reputation. And by not walking your sister down the aisle, it was impacting his perception, like how people perceive him and his reputation as a father. So obviously, he's gonna act like that. That's ridiculous. Later, during speeches, he wasn't on the list to speak. Somehow he manipulated the MC into introducing him and gave a speech anyway. Everyone was confused and uncomfortable. His friends were the only ones clapping. To top it all off, his table, consisting mainly of his childhood friends with some family on his side, stayed glued to their table the entire event and only got up to grab food. This is, like, visibly making me uncomfortable. I hate this. Like, ugh, I'm getting a cringe. Meanwhile, the rest of us had a grand old time dancing our butts off and laughing with our mom. I'm so proud of how she has risen above his manipulation games. My dad got what he wanted at the cost of all of his daughters, which I guess is no surprise considering that was never a steep cost for him. I'm guessing that means you're all finally no contact. Sometimes it takes something like that, and it sucks, but I'm glad that it didn't ruin her wedding. Okay, someone asked why he was invited, and this is what OP said. He is trash. He threatened to not come after I shed some light on his behavior to his girlfriend prior to the wedding. The bride was over it at that point, but he decided to come last minute. Probably because his friends would be there and it would make him look bad if he didn't show. Exactly. Narcissist. My sister invited him out of courtesy before we knew the extent of his crimes. My mother kept things very close to the chest because she wanted us to form our own opinions about him. So apparently they were invited before the sister knew all of his actions, because the invites went out like over a year ago. But she said that she regrets giving him a chance and she didn't know everything. And also, a little disclaimer, I hate throwing around the word narcissist, but like it feels like that's the only way to describe this person. I'm not diagnosing them. Please don't self-diagnose other people as narcissists, but that's what they titled it. And I mean, yeah. My older sister doesn't invite me to her child-free wedding as I am 19 and still expects a gift. And these are text messages. She just sent the link to her wedding registry with no context, and then the other sister says, "Is this your wedding registry? What else could it possibly be? Why are you sending it to me? Question mark, question mark, question mark. You're my sister? I'm not invited though." It's super common for people who cannot make it to get a small gift. Can't make it does not equal not invited. It's a child-free wedding. I'm a fully grown adult. You're under 21. You have a dry wedding. Why does that matter? We've been over this. That was before a gift was requested. I am an adult. It's my wedding and you're a teenager. It's clear by your reaction to my decisions regarding my own wedding, you are not mature enough to attend adult events or exist in adult spaces. Oof. It's my money, not getting a gift. And begging for expensive crap from a broke college student is cringe as hell. You're being immature and unsupportive. And then in the little stars, she put fart noises. And then the sister said, "My point stands." So, that was a text message exchange, obviously. I hope that you guys could follow that. I was trying to kind of have a little bit of distinction so that you could understand what the heck was going on. But basically, she's 19. Her sister is telling her, "You're not old enough," because 19 is still considered a teenager. However, she wants a gift from her. And the comments had the brilliant idea to tell her, children are not expected to bring gifts to weddings. Like, it's customary that they don't and their parents do. So if she's a child, then she shouldn't have to bring a present. And I agree. Like, if it's customary for people who cannot make it to get a gift. Well, it's also customary for children to not get gifts. My sister-in-law wore white to my wedding, and her excuse was I was already dressed. I, 42 female, married the absolute love of my life, 48 male, 2 years ago. It was my first wedding and his second. He had been married for 26 years before we got together. His ex-wife and his sister, my now sister-in-law, are best friends, which I actually respect. That's a long history, and I understand that relationships like that have value. Now, let's get to the drama. During the wedding, I was floating on joy and nerves. I didn't notice every detail. But later, as I was going through photos, one picture made me do a double take. My husband was in the center, and off to the right, someone in a white dress caught my eye. At first glance, I thought it was me. But when I looked closer and saw it was only his family in that picture, I realized it was my sister-in-law, in a solid white dress. Now, I noticed this after the wedding. I brought it up to my husband while we were talking with my stepdaughter, and she chimed in too. Clearly, she noticed it as well. It became one of those things I'd occasionally bring up, especially when other quote-unquote sister-in-law things came up. She's a pick-me type with strong mean girl energy, if you know what I mean. Fast forward 2 years. My husband, ever the peace seeker, wanted this tension resolved and brought it up to her. To her credit, she decided to come to me directly, which, respect where it's due. The convo went like this. Me? Yeah, it was shitty that you wore a white dress. I figured you did it to be petty or spiteful since I was marrying your friend's ex-husband. Her. Maybe I was. Who knows? But think about how I feel, knowing you're holding a grudge about what I wore. I didn't know. I mean, my daughter did tell me not to wear white to a wedding, but I was already dressed and ready to go. No apology, no self-reflection, just deflection. At this point, I honestly don't care how she feels about me holding a grudge. I knew if I brought it up earlier, she'd react the same way she did during the conversation. That's exactly why I never did. I laugh now because the dress she wore was a little see-through, Instant karma, if you ask me. Maybe I didn't give enough healing time between my husband's divorce and our marriage, but I knew I wanted to build a life with him. The marriage is beautiful. The sister-in-law? Just an added challenge. Yeah, bestie, she definitely knew and definitely hates you. Because you don't talk like that to someone you respect or someone you like. And also the maybe I was. Yeah, you handled it better than I would. I would have told her to F off. I need to stop saying that. I really don't tell people to do that often. I've said it like 3 times in this video. I'm a nice person, I swear. It's just, ooh, these people are riling me up. My sister's wedding. Shaming, fistfights, and a P word that rhymes with Constitution. We're trying to keep this family friendly. This is going back almost 20 years ago at this point. I was just getting off my feet. Male, 45 now, but I was 25 then. Working full-time, but still struggling to survive. I get the wedding invite in the mail. I'm also invited to be a groomsman. Interesting note of gifts of monetary value only, please, on the invite. But that seems typical for her. I feel like that's pretty customary in today's day to do like a fund, like a honeymoon fund or a house fund. But this was 20 years ago, so it's a little, I don't know if it would be taboo. What's the word? Tacky? I don't know. I don't know what the exact word is. You know, I'm doing my best here, but you catch the vibe. It was 20 years ago, so I was like 6 years old. Vibes were different back then. Awesome. My sister, Jenny, who is 47 now, was 27 then, female, is getting married. I like my brother-in-law, Jerry, who is a male 52 now, but was 32 then, to be quite a bit. Looking at the date, oh, it's on my birthday. Okay, I'm not going to bother mentioning it. Invite's out. Probably wouldn't do me any good anyway. Check out the flights, $1,100. But it's my sister, so I break the bank and book. That's so hard. I was so blessed that when my sister got married, she really didn't expect me to pay that much. I think that she knew that I had no money. I was going into my junior year of college, and my mom helped, but it was also not a destination wedding, so it was like literally actually closer to where I went to college, so I was the closest out of everybody. They were like an hour away, and I was 20 minutes away, but yeah, that's hard because it's your like sister, so you feel an obligation. It's like, even if I don't have $1,100, I'll make it work, but at the same time, like, that's your sister. She should like be able to either help you or know better, or like, I don't know, that's just tough. Anyway, I get there a week early for fittings for groomsmen. I didn't realize I was paying for the rental, another $500 I can't afford. I suck it up and keep going. I can't afford a gift for them now, but I'm sure my presence is gift enough. Spoiler, it wasn't. I found out my little sister, Laura, female 20 then, who is 40 now, is dropping out of the wedding party and not going. I ask my mom, and she says, oh, something to do with Laura's friend, Gina, who is also female 20 then. I'm sure she's going, just a stupid argument. I call up Laura and ask what's up, and boy was it a doozy. Jenny, Jerry, and their friend Mike, who was a male 27 at the time, show up drunk at the bar Laura and Gina work at. Threw money at Gina, $350, to bribe Gina to sleep with Laura's boyfriend, Victor, before the wedding, so Laura and Victor, will break up in time. So they're paying, brother-in-law, sister are paying Gina to sleep with other sister's boyfriend, so they break up. Are we following? Oh, Laura was also there. Anyway, continuing. I can't even fathom the logic that went through their heads at the time, but actual, truthful, and factual. They, Jenny, Jerry, and Mike, brother-in-law and sister's friend, tried to pimp out Laura's friend, Gina, because they didn't like Victor. Mind blown. To this day, I still try to believe it didn't happen. I'm pissed at that, but I've already put $1,600 into this wedding, so I guess I'll attend. Welcome to the rehearsal dinner. I arrive, do my usual thing of chatting with everyone, be a good rep of the family. Jerry has family from overseas. I meet them, have a good time, do shots, all the things. Overall, bond. Jenny approaches, bottom lip trembling. Crap. I'm basically already in the center of the room. All of a sudden, Jenny shrieks at me, how can you do this to me? I'm confused, and Jenny goes on. You walk in here like you always do, making a big show and make sure everyone talks to you, stealing my thunder. I think about the fact that it's actually my thunder being stolen, with my birthday being on her damn wedding, but I don't initiate. I just say I was trying to represent the family well. Jenny goes on some more about how horrible I'm acting, full on tears. I decide I don't need this, walk away, stop to say to her future in-laws, she's your problem now. and leave. Wedding day time. I arrive, get all suited up, ceremony goes off without a hitch. Then comes the wedding and dinner party. I'm soaking up the open bar, getting nice and tipsy, ignoring my birthday being ignored because what can I do? Suddenly my cousin, Lucy, around 20, female, comes to get me. Laura decided to show up. I was told to get outside right away. I go out and she is in a fist fight with a male cousin of Jerry's because when Laura showed up, not sure what this male cousin of Jerry's was told, but the cousin called Laura a Taylor Swift song that starts with a S and talks about flamingos. We're not going to say it on this channel / podcast because, and told her to leave. I have to get behind Laura. Her dress top has fallen down at this point, boobs swaying in the wind. Grab Laura and pull Laura away. When the boobs are out, things are serious. I take Laura to a nearby bar and we finish off the night with some shots. To this day, Jenny and Laura barely speak, and I'm positive there will never be a reconciliation. Final nail in it all, a very angry call from Jenny asking where my gift was. I said I couldn't afford a gift and to come to the wedding. Jenny calls me something not so nice and hangs up. Our relationship from that point has been cordial and I love her kids, but dang. Also, it was in the fall and it was brown and orange themed, aka ugly. Yeah, I said it. He included some pics, but I'm not going to share them because I don't want to I don't want to get him in trouble, but it's very ugly. It's just brown dresses, but they're also wearing black and brown. Like, the tie is brown, and then, the suits are black, and then the flowers look fake, and they're orange. It's not a good time. It looks like those, fall festival craft things that they hold at elementary schools that you go to in, the fall where you buy, scarecrows and things like that. That's the energy it's giving. But yeah, I'm glad that him and Laura got to hang out. That's actually insane. I just have no words. I think that obviously Jenny's crazy. Obviously that should not have occurred. And yeah, I'm kind of glad that Laura's vibing. He did say later down in the comments that Jenny and Jerry are still together and Laura broke up with Victor. But what can you do? So yeah, let me know your thoughts on this story as well as the other stories. I upload every single Sunday, so if you enjoyed this, definitely hang out, stick around, follow all the things, because I'll be back. I love you guys so, so much. I hope that you enjoyed, and I will see you in my next podcast episode. Bye, guys.